Silence is one of the great arts of conversation. In today's fast-paced world where everyone is constantly talking, sharing opinions, and looking for attention, silence can seem like an anomaly. But let me tell you, silence is not empty. It's full of power, opportunity, and clarity. The truth is, silence is one of the most underutilized tools we have, and it holds the key to unlocking greater levels of success, focus, and self-awareness. Now, I know what you might be thinking. How can silence possibly be powerful in a world that values noise and constant communication? But think about it for a moment. Have you ever found yourself talking just to fill the space, or explaining your every move to others, only to realize that you're draining your energy and losing focus? The truth is, when you stop talking, that's when you truly start listening to yourself, to the world around you, and to the opportunities you've been missing. Silence forces you to face your true self, without distractions. It reveals the truth about the people around you, and gives you the clarity to make better decisions. In this video, we're going to uncover the real truth about silence, how it can elevate your life, your work, and your relationships in ways words never could. You'll learn how silence commands respect, helps you focus your energy, and gives you the time to learn and grow. Successful people don't talk about their goals. They work silently toward them. They don't waste time explaining themselves to everyone around them. Instead, they let their actions speak louder than their words. So if you've ever felt the need to explain yourself, justify your decisions, or engage in every conversation, this video is for you. It's time to embrace silence, not as an absence, but as a powerful presence. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll understand why silence is the secret weapon successful people use every single day. You'll never look at silence the same way again. Get ready to unlock the power of silence. Let's dive in. Number 1. Silence forces you to face yourself. Silence is not easy. Most people avoid it. They fill their days with noise, with distractions, with anything that keeps them from having to be alone with their thoughts. The TV is always on. The phone is always in their hands. They talk just to talk. But the truth is, the moment you remove all that noise, you are left with the one person you cannot run from, yourself. And for a lot of people, that is terrifying. Because silence forces you to face things you may not be ready to face. It's in the silence that you hear your own thoughts clearly. And for some, that's the problem. Because what if those thoughts remind you of all the things you've been avoiding? What if they force you to acknowledge that you are not where you want to be in life? What if they bring up the mistakes, the regrets, the failures you've been trying to ignore? This is why so many people stay busy. They stay distracted. Because the moment they stop, the truth starts to creep in. But let me tell you, that truth is necessary. Because until you face it, you will never change. The most successful people in the world are not afraid of silence. They embrace it. They take time every day to sit alone, to think, to reflect, to ask themselves the hard questions. Am I on the right path? Am I becoming the person I want to be? Am I making excuses, or am I taking action? These are the kinds of questions most people never ask themselves, because they don't like the answers. But let me tell you something. If you don't ask these questions, you will stay exactly where you are. Nothing will change. Think about it. How many times have you caught yourself avoiding silence? The moment you wake up, you grab your phone. You scroll through social media. You fill your mind with whatever is out there, instead of taking a moment to check in with yourself. Instead of sitting in that silence and asking, what do I need to work on today? What do I need to improve? What habits are holding me back? You avoid it, and by avoiding it, you avoid growth. People think silence is empty, but it's not. Silence is full of answers. The reason most people feel lost, confused, and directionless is because they never take the time to listen. They listen to the world, to opinions, to entertainment, but they don't listen to themselves. But if you want to change your life, if you want to become better, if you want to truly understand who you are, you need to be silent. You need to sit with yourself and listen. And that's uncomfortable. That's hard, but it's necessary. Because in that silence, you will realize things about yourself that you never noticed before. You will start to see the patterns in your life, the mistakes you keep repeating, the habits that are keeping you stuck, the fears that are controlling you. And once you see them, you can finally do something about them. But if you never take that time, if you never sit in silence and reflect, You will just keep repeating the same mistakes over and over again, wondering why nothing is changing. People who don't take time for silence are always looking for something external to fix their problems. They think the answer is out there somewhere, in a book, in a video, in someone else's advice. But the truth is, the answers are already inside you. You just need to listen. You just need to stop running. Stop distracting yourself, and sit in that silence long enough to hear them. Most people don't know themselves. They think they do, but they don't. They know what society has told them to be. They know what their family expects of them. They know what their friends think about them, but they don't truly know themselves. They don't know what they really want. They don't know what really makes them happy. They don't know their true strengths, because they've never taken the time to sit in silence and find out. When you embrace silence, you gain clarity. You start to separate what is truly important from what is just noise. You start to understand yourself on a deeper level. You start to see your life with a clear mind, without the influence of outside voices telling you who you should be. And once you do that, once you get clear on who you are and what you want, everything changes. Because the moment you know yourself, really know yourself, you become unstoppable. You stop wasting time on things that don't matter. You stop letting the opinions of others control you. You stop seeking validation from the world, because you don't need it anymore. You become someone who is focused, disciplined, and confident. And that only happens when you take the time to sit in silence and face yourself. So stop running from it. Stop filling every moment of your day with noise, just to avoid being alone with your thoughts. Start taking time every day to sit in silence, even if it's just for a few minutes. Sit with yourself. Listen. Ask yourself the hard questions. Face the truth, even if it's uncomfortable, because that's how you grow. That's how you change. And that's how you become the person you were meant to be. Number 2. People show their true colors when you stay quiet. Most people reveal who they truly are, not through what they say, but through what they do when they think no one is watching. When they think there's no one to impress. When they think their words won't be challenged. And do you know when you see this the most? When you stay quiet. When you stop reacting. When you no longer feel the need to explain, argue, or prove anything. That's when people start to show you their real face. That's when you see their true colors. Silence is powerful. It makes people uncomfortable, because most people rely on words to manipulate, to convince, to disguise their true intentions. But when you don't engage, when you don't argue, when you don't feed into their games, their mask starts to slip. You'll notice how they respond when they can't control the conversation, when they can't twist your words, when they can't pull you into their world of excuses and manipulation. They start revealing parts of themselves they would rather keep hidden. And if you're paying attention, you'll start to see them clearly, maybe for the first time. The truth is, not everyone in your life is who they pretend to be. Some people are only kind when they need something from you. Some only respect you when you agree with them. Some only support you when it benefits them. And as long as you're talking, as long as you're engaging, they can keep up the act. But the moment you go quiet, the moment you stop reacting, that's when you see what they're really about. That's when you see if their kindness is genuine, or if it was just a tactic. That's when you find out who's truly on your side. Pay attention to how people treat you when you have nothing to offer them. Watch how they behave when you stop giving them attention, when you stop explaining yourself, when you stop trying to win their approval. Do they still show up? Do they still treat you with respect? Or do they disappear? Do they get frustrated? Do they start talking behind your back? That's the truth right there. That's who they really are. Most people are too busy explaining, defending, justifying. They get caught up in arguments, in proving their worth, in trying to convince people of their intentions. But here's the thing. You don't need to do that. You don't need to prove who you are. You don't need to argue with people who have already made up their minds about you. The more you talk, the more you give them room to twist your words, to manipulate, to distract you from what really matters. But when you stay silent, you take away their power. You force them to reveal themselves. When you stop engaging, you see who really respects you. You see who truly values you, not just for what you give, but for who you are. Some people will distance themselves when they realize they can no longer control you with words. Others will get angry because they thrived on your reactions. And some will show up, quietly, consistently, proving through their actions that they were always real. That's who you keep close. That's who deserves your energy. You don't need to fight to be understood. You don't need to argue to prove your worth. Let your silence do the work. Let people expose themselves through their own behavior. The ones who are real will stay. The ones who are pretending will leave. Either way, you win. Because the sooner you see people for who they truly are, the sooner you can stop wasting time on the wrong ones and start investing in the ones who actually matter. Number 3. When you stop explaining yourself, you start commanding respect. Most people spend too much time explaining themselves, justifying their actions, trying to make others understand their choices. They waste energy proving their worth, defending their dreams, explaining why they did something, why they didn't, why they believe what they believe. But here's the truth. Every time you do that, you are giving your power away. Every time you explain yourself to someone who doesn't deserve an explanation, you are asking for their approval, even if you don't realize it. And the moment you stop doing that, everything changes. The moment you stop explaining yourself, you start commanding respect. People respect those who don't beg for understanding. They respect those who move with certainty, who don't need validation, who aren't waiting for permission to be who they are. When you stop explaining yourself, you send a message that you know what you're doing, that you trust yourself. And people respond to that. They may not always agree with you, but they will respect you. Because respect isn't about being liked. It isn't about getting everyone to see things your way. Respect comes when people realize you are unshakable, that you don't need to be understood to keep moving forward. Think about the people you admire the most. Are they constantly explaining themselves? Are they begging for people to see their point of view? No, they speak with confidence. They act with purpose. And they don't waste time convincing others to approve of their path. And because of that, people respect them. Not because they seek it, but because it's a natural response to someone who is sure of themselves. Most people explain themselves out of habit. They explain because they fear being misunderstood. They explain because they want to be liked. They explain because they are unsure. And they think that by making others understand, they will feel better. But that's a trap. The more you explain, the weaker you seem. The more you justify, the less powerful you appear. If you know why you're doing something, if you've made a decision based on your values, your vision, your goals, then that's enough. You don't need to explain it to anyone. Not everyone deserves an explanation. Not everyone deserves access to your thoughts, your reasons, your plans. Some people ask just to find a way to discourage you. Some ask because they want to poke holes in your confidence. And some don't even care about the answer. They just want to feel important by making you explain yourself to them. When you stop explaining, you take away their power. You take away their ability to make you doubt yourself. Silence is powerful. A simple, "That's just what I decided," can be stronger than a 5-minute explanation. A quiet, confident move speaks louder than 100 justifications. When people question your path, and you don't rush to explain, they start to wonder. They start to respect the fact that you don't feel the need to prove yourself. And over time, they start seeing you differently. This isn't about arrogance. It's not about ignoring people who genuinely care about you. It's about knowing when to share and when to keep things to yourself. It's about recognizing who deserves an explanation and who doesn't. It's about standing firm in your choices without needing the world's approval. When you stop explaining yourself, you stop seeking permission. You stop waiting for validation. You move with certainty. And when you do that, people take notice. They respect the one who doesn't ask for respect, but commands it simply by being sure of who they are. Number 4, not everything needs a response. There comes a time when you realize that not everything needs a response. Not every comment deserves your attention. Not every argument is worth your energy. And the sooner you understand this, the more powerful you become. Most people waste too much time reacting to everything. Someone says something offensive, and they rush to defend themselves. Someone disagrees with them, and they feel the need to argue. Someone doubts them, and they feel like they have to explain why they are right. But do you know what happens when you always respond? You give people control over you. You let them decide where your energy goes. And most of the time, those people don't even deserve your attention. Think about it. How many times have you let a small comment ruin your entire day? How many times have you gone back and forth with someone who had no real intention of understanding you? How many times have you wasted energy on people who were just looking for a reaction? That's the trap. That's how they pull you into their world of negativity, distraction, and meaningless debates. But when you stop responding to everything, you take back your power. You realize that silence is sometimes the strongest answer. Not responding doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're smart enough to know what deserves your time. It means you understand that arguing with the wrong people is a waste. It means you value your energy too much to let just anyone drain it. Look around at the most successful, most respected people. Do you see them responding to every little thing? Do you see them arguing with people who don't matter? No. They know that not every opinion deserves an answer. They understand that people will talk, people will criticize, people will doubt, and instead of getting caught up in it, they keep moving forward. That's what separates them from the rest. Most people think they need to prove something. They think that if someone questions them, they have to defend themselves. They think if someone challenges them, they have to fight back. But the truth is, real strength isn't in how much you argue. It's in how much you can ignore. It's in how focused you can stay, even when people are trying to distract you. Not every battle is worth fighting. Not every opinion matters. Some people just want to pull you down to their level. And the moment you engage, you've already lost. The strongest people in the world don't waste time proving themselves. They let their results speak. They let their actions show who they are. And that's what earns them respect. When you stop responding to everything, people start seeing you differently. They realize they can't control you. They see that you don't play their games. They understand that your focus is on something bigger, something more important. And that's when you truly stand out. That's when you start commanding respect. So the next time someone tries to pull you into an argument, the next time someone questions your choices, the next time you feel the urge to explain yourself, pause. Ask yourself, does this really deserve my energy? If the answer is no, walk away. Keep your focus, protect your peace, and watch how much more powerful you become. Number 5. You don't have to explain yourself to everyone. Most people go through life feeling like they owe everyone an explanation. They feel like they have to justify their choices, defend their actions, and make sure everyone understands their decisions. But the truth is, you don't have to explain yourself to everyone. In fact, the more you try to, the more you drain your energy and the less control you have over your own life. Think about it. How many times have you stopped yourself from doing something because you were worried about what others would think? How many times have you explained your goals, your dreams, your plans, only to be met with doubt, criticism, or negativity? And then you find yourself going back and forth, trying to make them understand, trying to get their approval, trying to convince them that what you're doing is right. But why? Why do you feel the need to explain yourself to people who may never truly understand? The reality is, no matter how much you explain, some people will never get it. Not because you're wrong, not because your decisions don't make sense, but because they don't have the same vision as you. They don't see what you see. They don't feel what you feel. And that's okay. You don't need them to. The only person who needs to understand your choices is you. When you constantly explain yourself, you're giving people power over you. You're seeking their approval, even if you don't realize it. And the moment you stop explaining, you take that power back. You start moving with confidence. You start trusting yourself more. You start making decisions based on what's right for you, not based on what will make others comfortable. Successful people don't waste time explaining themselves. They don't stop to defend every move they make. They don't ask for permission to live their lives. They simply do what they believe is best and let their results speak for themselves. They understand that not everyone needs to be in agreement with them. They know that explaining themselves to the wrong people is a waste of time. Not everyone deserves access to your thoughts, your plans, your dreams. Some people will only try to discourage you. Some will try to change your mind, not because they know better, but because they are uncomfortable seeing you do something different. And some people just love to criticize. That's why you have to be selective. That's why you have to know when to stay silent and keep moving forward. You are not responsible for making everyone comfortable with your choices. You are not responsible for making sure everyone understands your journey. Your life is yours to live, and the moment you accept that, you become unstoppable. When you stop explaining yourself, you stop seeking approval. When you stop seeking approval, you start living on your own terms. And when you live on your own terms, that's when you truly start to win. So from this moment on, remind yourself, you don't have to explain yourself to everyone. The people who truly support you won't need an explanation. And the people who demand one, they were never really on your side to begin with. Move forward. Trust yourself. And watch how much more peaceful, powerful, and confident your life becomes. Number 6. Silence keeps your energy focused. There is a reason why the most disciplined, most successful people understand the value of silence. It's not just about staying quiet. It's about keeping your energy focused. It's about making sure that every ounce of your effort, every second of your time, and every bit of your attention is directed towards something that actually matters. Most people don't realize how much energy they waste in unnecessary conversations, pointless arguments, and meaningless distractions. They talk about their plans more than they execute them. They explain their every move to people who don't even support them. They react to every little thing, giving their time and attention to matters that add no real value to their life. And then they wonder why they feel drained. They wonder why they're stuck in the same place, not making progress. It's because their energy is scattered. It's being pulled in too many directions. But when you embrace silence, when you learn to keep things to yourself, you gain control. You stop giving away your focus so easily. You stop engaging in things that don't serve you. You become intentional with your words and your actions. And that's when your energy starts working for you instead of against you. Look at the people who get things done. They don't spend hours explaining what they're going to do. They don't waste time proving themselves to others. They don't react to every comment, every opinion, every little distraction. Instead, they stay quiet. They stay locked in. They let their work speak for itself. And that's why they move faster than everyone else. While others are caught up in useless conversations, they are focused on execution. While others are distracted by what people think, they are making progress. Silence is powerful because it protects your mind. It allows you to think clearly. It keeps you from getting caught up in unnecessary stress. It helps you preserve your energy for the things that truly matter. When you stop responding to everything, when you stop sharing every detail of your plans, when you stop letting outside noise dictate your actions, you start moving differently. You start becoming more productive. You start getting results. Most people don't understand this. They think talking about their goals is the same as working on them. They think explaining their struggles to everyone will make things easier. But in reality, every time you talk unnecessarily, you are leaking energy. You are giving away focus that could be used for something better. You are allowing distractions to slow you down. When you keep your energy focused, you stop letting small things get in your way. You stop reacting to every little challenge. You develop the discipline to stay on track, no matter what's happening around you. And over time, this level of focus separates you from the rest. It puts you ahead. It makes you unstoppable. There's a reason why the most respected people don't say much. They don't need to. Their actions speak for them. Their results show what they are capable of. And that's because they understand the power of keeping their energy focused. They know that silence isn't weakness. It's control. It's the ability to direct your energy where it matters most. So if you want to move forward faster, if you want to get more done, if you want to see real change in your life, start protecting your energy. Stop wasting time on things that don't deserve your attention. Stop explaining yourself to people who will never understand. Stop reacting to every little distraction. Instead, stay quiet. Stay focused. Let your results do the talking, and watch how everything in your life starts to shift. Number 7. When you stop talking, you start learning. The more you talk, the less you learn. It's that simple. It's one of those truths that people tend to overlook, especially when they're in the habit of talking just to fill the silence. But the truth is, when you stop talking, When you make the decision to stay silent, you open yourself up to a whole new world of learning and growth. And the most successful people understand this deeply. When you stop talking, you create space for other voices to be heard. You start listening more, paying attention to the details that you might have missed if you were too busy talking about your own thoughts. The quieter you become, the more you start to absorb from the people around you, from the situations you find yourself in, and from the world as a whole. There is so much to learn when you're just willing to listen. Think about the moments in your life when you learned something valuable. More often than not, it wasn't when you were doing all the talking. It was when you were sitting back, keeping your thoughts to yourself and listening. It was when you were learning from others, observing, taking it all in. There's power in silence. It allows you to hear things you might miss when you're speaking. It lets you see the bigger picture, understand the subtleties, and catch details that you might not notice in the middle of your own explanations. When you talk less, you allow your mind to absorb new ideas, perspectives, and insights. It's in those moments of silence that the world becomes a classroom. The more you hold back, the more you open yourself up to knowledge. And this is where true growth happens. It's not about talking about what you know. It's about learning from others and from the world around you. You become a sponge, soaking up information, ready to use it when the time is right. Silence also helps you avoid the trap of thinking you have all the answers. Too often we talk to fill the silence, to show that we know something, or to make ourselves feel important. But the truth is, the more you talk, the more you reveal your lack of understanding. It's the quiet ones, the ones who are listening, observing, and absorbing, that end up with the deepest insights. They are the ones who are truly learning. They are the ones who are in control of their own growth. If you really want to get ahead, if you want to grow, then start listening. Stop talking so much and start learning from others. You'll be amazed at how much you can discover simply by being quiet, by sitting back and letting other people share their experiences and their knowledge. You open yourself up to ideas that can transform your life. The best ideas aren't always the ones we come up with on our own. Sometimes they come from the conversations we listen to when we decide to stay quiet. Think about it. Every time you stop talking, you create a window for new information to enter. When you're constantly talking, you're closing that window. You're blocking yourself from the things you need to learn, the things that could take you to the next level. But when you hold back, when you choose silence, you create the space for the wisdom of others to fill that void. You start to see things from a different perspective. You start to understand things you never understood before. Your growth accelerates because you're willing to learn instead of just talk. This is why silence is such a powerful tool for success. It's not just about being quiet for the sake of it. It's about recognizing that there's always something more to learn. It's about understanding that no matter how much you think you know, there's always someone who knows something you don't. And when you stop talking, you make room for that knowledge to come in. So the next time you find yourself about to speak, ask yourself, what can I learn by staying quiet? You might be surprised by the answers you get. You might find that in the silence, you discover more about the world, about others, and even about yourself. It's in those quiet moments that the real learning happens. And it's through that learning that you begin to grow, to develop, and to rise to new levels of success. Remember, the most successful people aren't the ones who talk the most. They're the ones who listen, who learn, and who let their actions speak for them. When you stop talking, you stop filling the air with noise. And when you stop filling the air with noise, you open yourself up to the valuable lessons that are all around you. That's how real growth happens. That's how real success is built, through silence, through learning, through listening. Number 8. Successful people listen more and speak less. The truth is, successful people don't need to speak much. Their power lies in listening. They know that the more they listen, the more they understand. The more they understand, the more they can use that knowledge to their advantage. It's not about talking to be heard. It's about knowing when to speak. And more importantly, when to stay silent and listen. And this is where many people go wrong. They feel like they have to talk constantly to prove their worth, to make an impact, to show that they know something. But the most successful people out there are the ones who choose their words carefully. They understand the value of silence and how it opens up opportunities for growth. When you talk less, you give yourself the chance to absorb the world around you. You give yourself the opportunity to hear other people's thoughts, ideas, and perspectives. And the more you hear, the more you learn. In fact, the more you learn, the better decisions you'll be able to make. You'll be able to navigate situations with greater clarity, knowing when to act and when to remain still. Successful people understand that talking without thinking, speaking just for the sake of it, only leads to wasted energy and missed chances. They prefer to listen closely to everything around them, because it's in those moments of silence that the most important insights are often revealed. Think about the people you admire, the ones you look up to as successful, whether in business, sports, or any other field. Do they talk all the time? Do they feel the need to fill every silence with their voice? Chances are, the answer is no. They understand that true power comes not from what you say, but from how well you listen. They understand that every conversation, every interaction, and every situation is an opportunity to learn something new, something that can help them grow, succeed, and improve. By listening more, they gain a deeper understanding of the world around them and the people they engage with. And that's the key to long-term success. You see, when you talk too much, you risk missing the crucial details that can change everything for you. You might overlook a key piece of advice that could help you take your career or personal life to the next level. You might miss out on understanding someone else's point of view that could open your eyes to a new opportunity. Silence, on the other hand, creates space for all of these things. It gives you room to observe, to take in the full picture, and to gain the wisdom that others might miss because they're too busy talking. It's in that silence that the richest ideas are often found, the most valuable lessons are learned, and the greatest opportunities are discovered. The most successful people are not the ones who speak the loudest or the most often. They are the ones who have mastered the art of listening. They've learned how to observe, how to absorb information, and how to use what they learn to propel themselves forward. They know that listening is the key to understanding, and understanding is the key to making smart, informed decisions that lead to success. If you want to be successful, take a step back, stop talking for a moment, and listen. Pay attention to the world around you, to the people you interact with, and to the situations you find yourself in. You'll be amazed at how much you learn when you start listening instead of talking. Now, this doesn't mean you should never speak up. It's important to find your voice and use it when the time is right. But the most successful people know when that time is. They don't speak just for the sake of it. They don't fill the air with noise. They speak when they have something valuable to add, when their words can make a real difference. Until then, they listen. They listen to learn. They listen to understand. And they listen to grow. The next time you find yourself in a conversation, take a moment to pause before speaking. Think about what you can learn from the other person. Think about what insights you might gain if you just listen more closely. You'll be amazed at the impact it can have on your personal and professional life. So remember, if you want to be successful, don't focus on talking more. Focus on listening more. In the silence, there's power. In the listening, there's growth. And in the growth, there's success. Number 9. Quiet people get more done. Quiet people are the ones who truly get things done. It's not because they have a secret formula for success, or because they work harder than anyone else. It's because they understand something most people overlook: the power of focus. They know that when you're constantly talking, constantly engaging with others, you dilute your energy and your attention. But when you keep quiet, you direct all of that energy into what really matters. You become deeply immersed in your work, in your goals, and in the steps it takes to achieve them. In a world filled with distractions, social media, endless meetings, and constant noise, quiet people have mastered the art of blocking it all out. They're not caught up in the drama or the small talk that tends to pull others off course. Instead, they are able to stay focused on what's truly important, whether it's a big project, a personal goal, or a vision they're working toward. They understand that time is limited, and they use it wisely. They don't waste it on things that don't contribute to their progress. They don't waste it on conversations that lead nowhere, or on tasks that don't align with their bigger picture. The beauty of being quiet is that it allows you to tune out the noise and listen to your own inner voice. You start to realize what really matters to you, what you want to achieve, and how you can get there. This clarity is invaluable. It helps you stay on track and avoid the distractions that derail most people. Quiet people are often the most productive, because they aren't constantly seeking approval, validation, or attention. They don't need to boast about their accomplishments or explain every little detail. They simply get to work, stay focused, and let their results speak for themselves. It's important to understand that being quiet doesn't mean being passive or disengaged. Quiet people are often the hardest workers in the room. They're just not the ones making noise about it. They don't feel the need to constantly broadcast their progress or announce every small victory. They let their actions speak for themselves, and when they do speak, it's usually with purpose. They know that true success is not about how much you talk or how much you share with others. It's about how much you accomplish when no one is looking. In fact, some of the most successful people in the world are quiet. They are the ones who wake up early, put in the work, and stay consistent without needing to seek attention. They understand that the results they produce are far more powerful than any words they could say. They don't waste time on unnecessary chatter because they know that time is the most valuable resource they have. They invest it in their growth, their goals, and the things that truly matter to them. Being quiet also allows you to think deeply. When you're not constantly speaking or responding to external stimuli, you create space for your mind to work. You give yourself the chance to come up with innovative solutions, to analyze situations from different angles, and to strategize effectively. Quiet people don't rush into decisions or actions without considering all the possibilities. They take the time to think things through, to process information, and to act with intention. This deliberate approach leads to better outcomes, fewer mistakes, and more meaningful achievements. Moreover, quiet people understand the importance of solitude. They know that in order to be productive, they need time to themselves. They value their alone time because it's during those moments that they can focus, plan, and execute without distractions. This solitude allows them to recharge, to think clearly, and to get in touch with their own thoughts and ideas. It's a powerful tool that allows them to stay grounded, stay focused, and stay on the path to success. When you're constantly talking or surrounded by noise, it's easy to lose sight of what you're working toward. You start to spread yourself thin, taking on too many things and trying to please everyone. But when you're quiet, you regain control. You prioritize your time and energy. You focus on what's truly important, and you take deliberate steps to move forward. It's not about working harder, it's about working smarter, and quiet people know this better than anyone. So if you want to be more productive and achieve more, take a page from the quiet people's book. Stop feeling the need to explain everything. Stop trying to impress others with your words. Instead, focus on your work, your goals, and your progress. Let your actions speak louder than your words. When you stop talking so much, you'll be amazed at how much more you can accomplish. You'll find that you have more time, more energy, and more focus to do what matters most. And as you continue to get things done, you'll realize that the quiet path is often the most powerful one to take. Number 10. Your actions speak louder than your words. There's a saying that actions speak louder than words, and it couldn't be more true. In a world where everyone seems to have something to say, the real impact comes from what you do, not what you say. Words are easy. Anybody can talk. But not everyone can walk the walk. The true measure of a person's character, ambition, and integrity lies in their actions, not in the promises they make or the things they claim they can do. Think about it. How many times have you heard someone say they're going to change? They're going to do something big, or they have big plans. And how many times have you seen them fail to follow through? This is where the difference between words and actions becomes crystal clear. It's easy to say you're going to do something. It's easy to have dreams and goals and to tell people about them. But the real question is, are you willing to put in the work to make it happen? Your actions speak volumes about your true intentions. When you say you want something, but your actions don't align with your words, people notice. They may not say anything, but they can see right through the facade. On the other hand, when you let your actions do the talking, you don't need to say much at all. People see the effort you're putting in, the results you're producing, and the consistency you bring to the table. Your actions tell the world exactly who you are and what you're about. And let me tell you, the world notices people who are truly dedicated, who back up their words with real, tangible actions. It's easy to get caught up in the hype, to talk a big game and try to impress others with your ambitions. But if you're not taking action, your words mean nothing. The most successful people I know don't waste their time talking about what they're going to do. They're too busy actually doing it. They don't need to explain their every move or broadcast their progress to the world. They simply show up, do the work, and let their results speak for themselves. When your actions are in line with your words, that's when you start to build trust and credibility. People will start to believe in you because they can see that you're following through. They can see that you're serious about your goals and that you're not just talking for the sake of talking. You're taking real steps, day in and day out, toward the future you want to create. That's what inspires respect. That's what earns admiration. When you're consistent, when you're disciplined, when you're showing up every single day with purpose, your actions become a reflection of your character, your values, and your determination. Let me tell you, no one is going to believe in your vision if they can't see you putting in the work to make it a reality. It's easy to say that you want to change the world, or that you want to achieve something great, but the world doesn't change based on what you say. It changes based on what you do. If you want to make a real impact, you need to start showing up, doing the work, and letting your actions speak for themselves. The more consistent you are, the more others will notice. And soon people will start to look to you as an example of what can be achieved when you follow through and take action. Don't get me wrong, words have power. The right words can inspire, motivate, and uplift others. But words alone won't get you very far. Words without action are just empty promises. The real power lies in combining your words with the action needed to bring them to life. It's not enough to say you're going to do something. You have to prove it through your actions. And when you do, people will take notice. They'll see that you're not just talking, you're doing. They'll see the results, and they'll understand that you are someone who can be trusted to follow through. The best part about letting your actions speak louder than your words is that it creates momentum. When you start acting on your goals, even in small ways, you begin to build momentum. The more you do, the more you get done. The more you prove to yourself and to others that you're capable of achieving great things, the more motivated you'll become. And the more motivated you become, the more you'll accomplish. It's a cycle of success that begins with action. So if you want to stand out, if you want to make an impact, if you want to be someone who is truly respected and admired, stop talking about what you're going to do and start doing it. Show up every day, do the work, and let your results speak for themselves. Actions have a way of cutting through the noise and showing people who you really are. And when your actions are aligned with your goals, that's when you start to build the kind of life you've always dreamed of. So forget about the talk and focus on the walk. Your actions will speak louder than anything you could ever say.